We're counting down the 10 TV brands that just might turn your living room into a regret factory. From big names riding on nostalgia fumes to budget beauties that barely make it past the warranty, this list exposes the manufacturers most likely to leave you with dead pixels, system crashes, and the sinking feeling that cheap is anything but cheerful. Some of these brands sound trustworthy, others lure you in with flashy specs, but all share one thing. They consistently fail the most basic test: reliability. Which brand lands the ultimate "what were you thinking" prize? Let's kick things off with number 10. In the 10th place, Hisense is the TV brand for anyone who thinks spec sheet is a synonym for good deal. On paper, it's a steal. Big screens, flashy features, and prices that make you double-check the tag. But here's the catch. Consumer Reports actually pulled their recommendation for several Hisense models after seeing defect rates that would make a bargain bin blush. Common complaints? Backlight failures that turn your living room into a shadow puppet show, screen uniformity so patchy you'd swear your TV had a sunburn, and smart OS updates that roll out slower than dial-up internet. Warranty returns stack up, firmware support is spotty at best, and owners report that the honeymoon phase ends right around the time the pixels start dropping like flies. Hisense is like buying a sports car made of cardboard. It looks fast until it rains. Verdict: if you want a TV that's all sizzle and no steak, Hisense is your ticket to disappointment. Number 9. Vizio is the TV brand that went from budget hero to privacy villain. Here's the story. In 2017, Vizio got slapped with a $2.2 million fine from the FTC for secretly collecting and selling what you watched, down to every channel, every movie, every HDMI input, without telling you. Your TV was basically a nosy roommate, tracking your habits and cashing in on your binge sessions. But the trouble doesn't stop at spying. Vizio's smart TVs are infamous for menus that crawl slower than a dial-up modem, random reboots in the middle of your favorite show, and HDMI ports that act like they're allergic to your devices. Plug in a soundbar or game console, and you might spend more time power cycling than actually watching. Early Vizio sets earned a reputation for value, but those glory days are long gone. Now it's a gamble. Decent picture, but you risk living with a TV that freezes, snoops, and forgets how to talk to your gear. Verdict: if you want a TV that spies on you and can't keep its act together, Vizio is your match. 8th place, Element is the TV brand waving the stars and stripes while quietly importing most of the components from overseas. Walk into a big box store, and you'll spot those "assembled in the USA" stickers plastered on the box, with the fine print that tells another story. The Winsboro, South Carolina plant bolts together the final pieces, but the panels, boards, and brains are all shipped in from China or Taiwan. So what do you get for your patriotic dollar? A lottery ticket. Some Element sets power on with a decent picture. Others arrive with dead pixels right out of the box. Complaints about dim screens and muddy colors pile up, and the return desk at Walmart knows these boxes by heart. Warranty claims spike just after the first year, when the cheap components start to show their age. It's not a TV, it's a gamble, one where the house always wins. Verdict: if you think a flag sticker means quality, Element is ready to cash in on your wishful thinking. Number 7. RCA is what happens when a legendary name becomes a game of brand roulette. Back in the day, RCA meant cutting-edge TVs and radios in every living room. Fast forward to now, and those 3 letters are just a sticker, slapped on whatever TV rolls off the cheapest assembly line that week. Curtis International, a Canadian licensing company, owns the rights in North America, but the actual sets come from a rotating cast of factories in China. One RCA might be built by Tongfang, another by Hisense, and a third by some mystery OEM you'll never hear of again. That means you never know what you're getting. One model might have halfway decent color, while the next looks like it's stuck in sepia mode. Owners complain about wild shifts in picture accuracy, menus that lag like a 90s desktop, and defect rates that could make a casino nervous. It's nostalgia weaponized. Your grandma's favorite brand, now a lottery ticket for modern buyers. Verdict: with RCA, you're not buying a TV, you're buying a surprise every time you hit the power button. Number 6. Westinghouse is the TV brand that proves nostalgia can be hazardous to your wallet. The name might conjure up images of sturdy radios from the 1950s, but today's Westinghouse TV is more like a thrift store mixtape, assembled by strangers, and you never know what you're going to get. Most Westinghouse sets rolling off the line now come courtesy of Tongfang's factories in China, with quality control that feels more like a suggestion than a rule. Owners routinely complain about color calibration so far off the mark, it's like watching cartoons through a pair of old sunglasses. But the real circus starts with the software. Firmware updates are infamous for bricking TVs, trapping users in endless boot loops that turn a smart TV into a dumb black rectangle. And don't expect the sound to save the day. Audio is so thin and tinny, you'll wonder if the speakers are powered by rubber bands. Customer satisfaction surveys consistently rank Westinghouse near the bottom, with support that's mostly a game of phone tag. Verdict: if you think a classic name guarantees a classic TV, Westinghouse is ready to teach you a lesson in disappointment. Number 5. Insignia is what happens when your local electronics store decides to play manufacturer. Best Buy wanted a house brand that could undercut the big names, so they slapped their logo on TVs built by whoever gave them the best deal that quarter, usually TCL or Hisense, depending on the year. Out of the box, Insignia sets look like a steal. You get a big screen, Roku or Fire TV baked in, and a price tag that makes you wonder if there's a catch. Spoiler: there is. Inside, these TVs are built with parts chosen for cost, not longevity. Power boards and edge lighting strips are notorious for giving up the ghost after a year or two, right around the time your receipt fades. Firmware support? Blink and you'll miss it. Updates come slow, if at all, and when they stop, you're stuck with whatever bugs or compatibility issues your TV shipped with. HDR on Insignia is more of a suggestion than a feature. The brightness just isn't there. Verdict: Insignia is fine for a dorm room or as a backup in the basement, but if you want a TV that'll last longer than your last phone upgrade, keep walking. Number 4. JVC is the TV brand for anyone still living in the golden age of boom boxes and VHS tapes. Back in the 80s, that logo meant you were getting a serious piece of gear. Rock-solid CRTs, audio that rattled the windows, and a reputation for engineering that actually meant something. Fast forward to today, and buying a JVC TV is like ordering a classic car online and getting a plastic pedal car in the mail. The reality is, JVC's modern sets are mostly built by whoever wins the licensing contract that year. TCL, Shenzhen MTC, sometimes Amtran, so you never really know what's inside the box. What you do know is that motion handling is a mess. Many JVC models are locked at 60 Hz, which means fast-moving scenes turn into a blur fest, and sports look like they're being played underwater. Reviewers have caught frame duplication artifacts that make action movies look like a slideshow. The smart interface? Expect a laggy, outdated experience that's more 2009 than 2025. Menu stutter, apps freeze, and sometimes the remote feels like it's sending requests by carrier pigeon. And the industrial design hasn't changed much since the Bush era. Big bezels, clunky stands, and a look that says, "Yard Sale Special." Verdict: if you're buying JVC for the nostalgia, just dust off your old Walkman instead. Today's sets are stuck in the past, but without any of the charm. Coming to the top 3, Magnavox and Philips licensed TVs are the ultimate bait and switch for anyone who still trusts the old Dutch badge. On the box, you see that familiar Philips shield or the Magnavox name your parents swore by. But open it up, and you're staring at a Funai-built imposter, assembled in China or Mexico, with parts chosen for cost, not quality. Every single US Magnavox or Philips TV sold in the last decade comes from Funai's factories, not any Philips lab in Europe. That means you're buying a licensed product, not the real deal. The result? A flicker fest. Owners report screens that start blinking or ghosting after just a year or two, with backlights that fizzle out long before you're done paying off your credit card. And if you think warranty support will save you, buckle up. Service center horror stories are everywhere. Calls bounced between Funai, the retailer, and the Philips brand office, with each one denying responsibility. Some buyers spend weeks chasing down a replacement, only to end up with the same defective panel. Customer forums are full of tales about TVs that die young and support hotlines that play ping pong with your problem. Verdict: Magnavox and Philips licensed sets are logo catfish. Trusted names hiding bargain bin guts. If you think the badge means better, you're just buying into a brand costume with a short shelf life. Number 2 is Toshiba, or at least what is left of it. Once upon a time, that badge meant Japanese engineering and TVs that could outlast your couch. Fast forward to 2025, and buying a Toshiba TV in the US is like ordering sushi and getting a microwaved fish stick. Here is the ugly truth. Every Toshiba TV sold at big box stores right now is built by Hisense, straight out of China or Mexico, with the original engineers long gone. The specs look decent on the shelf. Fire TV built in, HDR logos all over the box. But fire it up and reality hits. The interface moves like it is wading through molasses. Owners complain about waiting 5 to 10 seconds just for the home screen to load. And input lag so bad it will make your game controller feel broken. Peak brightness? Forget it. These sets struggle to hit 300 nits, which means HDR is just a sticker. Movies look flat, colors wash out, and even cartoons lose their punch. Reviewers have clocked these panels with input lag in the 90 millisecond range, which is basically unplayable for anything but slow-motion chess. Tear one open and you will find the same bargain bin boards as a generic Hisense, just with a different logo stamped on top. Toshiba's own support is a ghost town, and software updates are rare. Verdict: if you are buying Toshiba for the name, you are getting a badge-engineered clone with all the pain and none of the pedigree. This is nostalgia sold at a clearance price, and the price is your sanity. And finally, in first place, Polaroid is the lemon king of TV brands, the ultimate nostalgia bait for anyone who thinks a famous camera logo magically turns a screen into a good buy. You walk into the store, spot that rainbow logo on a box, and maybe you're picturing the instant cameras your parents used at birthday parties. But here's the ugly truth. Polaroid hasn't built a TV factory in decades. The name gets farmed out to whoever wants to slap it on a batch of budget panels that month. One day it's Tongfang in China, next week it's Vestel in Turkey, and after that, maybe some no-name OEM you'll never hear from again. That means every Polaroid TV is a roll of the dice and the odds are stacked against you. Panel grade? Think factory seconds. The kind of screens that failed quality checks for real brands and got scooped up at a discount. Owners complain about colors so chalky you'd think you're watching through a dust storm, and contrast that turns every movie night into a gray sweater convention. Try to tweak the settings and you'll realize the menus are as basic as a 90s flip phone. But the real kicker is the support, or more accurately, the total lack of it. Firmware updates? Forget it. Most Polaroid TVs ship with whatever software the factory installed on day one. And that's where it ends. Bugs, app crashes, and compatibility issues never get fixed. If you call for help, you'll get bounced between the distributor, the brand licensor, and some overseas support line, each one claiming the other is responsible. Warranty? Good luck. By the time you need a repair, the company that built your TV might have already moved on to making microwaves or air purifiers instead. Retailers love to stack Polaroid TVs high during Black Friday, hoping the rock-bottom price will distract you from the return desk horror stories. Industry insiders say return rates hit double digits, sometimes 3 or 4 times higher than what you'd see from a real TV brand. And if you think you're getting a deal, just remember, The only thing consistent about a Polaroid TV is how quickly it ends up in the e-waste bin. Verdict: Polaroid is the final boss of bad TV brands. Every shortcut, every trick, every corner cut in the book, all hiding behind a logo that's been passed around more than a re-gifted fruitcake. If you want a TV that's guaranteed to disappoint, Polaroid is waiting for you at the bottom of the clearance aisle. From Hisense's tempting specs that crumble with time to Polaroid's infamous badge engineering disaster at number 1, this countdown has exposed the harsh truth behind the TV world's worst offenders. Across all 10 entries, a clear pattern emerges. Big-name nostalgia and bargain pricing often mask weak hardware, inconsistent manufacturing, and non-existent support. Brands like RCA, Westinghouse, and Toshiba rely on past reputations, but today's models are built by third parties cutting every corner. The most shocking entries, like Polaroid and licensed Philips sets, reveal how far companies will go to slap a familiar logo on subpar tech. This list proves that when it comes to TVs, low prices and famous names don't guarantee quality or longevity. The real lesson? In this category, you truly get what you pay for. And sometimes that cost is more than just money. Always look past the badge, because in the world of TVs, the smartest buyers know that real value isn't just skin deep,